Hey everyone, it's Naturally Nija J, and I wanted to do a video today. It's Tuesday, and it's more of a follow-up and more of expounding on a blog post that I did last week. So if you are not following my blog, why don't you go ahead and follow it? It's on WordPress, and it's naturallynijaj.wordpress.com. And then also you can follow me on social media. I am on YouTube, Naturally Nija J, and Facebook, Naturally Nija. I will be forming everything under one brand. I think I'm dropping the J. But anyway, there was a reason why I added J a long time ago. But nonetheless, so go ahead and follow the blog and like, subscribe, share, do all of that on my social media platforms as well. I really appreciate it. So last week I did a blog post about Monday means motivation, and I had 5 little nuggets that I shared with everyone, and I wanted to kind of expound on that. And I kind of feel like if a video may make the message a little clearer, or it may make it resonate differently, then so be it. So that's why I decided to do a video. Plus I had some other things that came up that I wanted to share with you that I did not write in the blog. So let's kind of get started. So the first thing that I talked about was, and I'm looking at my notes too, if you're wondering. So I put that how you see a situation determines how you will address it. So if you are presented with a scenario, right, whatever it is, and you immediately look at that scenario as it's horrible, it's not something that can change or be beneficial in any capacity, you're not going to look for solutions. If you see that situation as, okay, it's not the end of the world, it's something that can be worked through, I'm sure we can figure out a way, you're more apt to be open to solutions. And so that pretty much can apply to anything, whether it's to your work, whether it's to your business, whether it's to your relationships. How you see that situation or that scenario will determine if you are going to look for solutions. And I can just kind of talk about, you know, in a business and work situation and setting, oftentimes you can tell whether or not someone really wants to look for solutions. Their body language says it all, you know, the kind of questions they ask say it all. It's a lot of indicators. And I sometimes will chuckle to myself when I'm having conversations or meetings or, you know, conversing with people. I'm just really reading a lot of things, and I always try to, you know, look to see, okay, is this person really jiving with trying to get this done? Does this person not see that there's a resolution, you know, and move on from there? But I really try my best, me personally, right? Me personally, I try my best to look at everything from a place of optimism. You have to work really, really hard and be intentional to have an optimistic viewpoint. And not everyone has it. Sad to say, not everyone has it, and it shows, and it has benefits, and it has some costs attached to it. So that little nugget is kind of you checking yourself and seeing whether or not are you a pessimist, are you an optimist? And being a pessimist, does that benefit you? Do you like where you are in life? Would you like to grow? It just, you know, it depends on how you want to address this. I'm assuming if you're still watching this video, you potentially want to see some change in your life, and you are looking for ways to seek those changes and how to go about those changes. So check your viewpoint, check your mindset. Are you an optimist or are you a pessimist? Okay. So point number 2 is I just simply had reference over, if you are faithful over the least of those things, you will be faithful over much. And that pretty much came from just the mindset of how you are faithful over the things that have been bestowed upon you right now today. And are you treating those things with the utmost care? Are you treating those things like they are rubies, diamonds, whatever you see as valuable, gold, silver, whatever it may be? Are you treating those things with the utmost care? And here's the thing about that. I often look over, just the course of my life and over the course of people's lives who have impacted me in some capacity. And I look at their faithfulness, and I look at how they, are committed, how they treat things. And it may be relatively small to someone, but it means a lot. I'm a person who looks at attention to detail. That is something that I am pretty good at, and I use it to my benefit. And so I really, really look at the goals that I have in life and for business and for work and family. And I know those goals are pretty darn big, pretty big. But that doesn't scare me because I know the God I serve. So nonetheless, I know that the things that he has put over my possession and over my, stewardship while I'm here, I have to treat that with the utmost care, because my expectation is that greater will follow. So, for instance, if you want to apply this to your work or your business, you may not be exactly where you want to be, right? But by golly, you better work whatever it is you're doing right now like it's the best thing, like it is, everything that you could have wanted and more, because that makes a difference. People are watching you. You don't think your supervisor, your manager, your coworker, your investors, your business partners, your family, your friends, you don't think they're watching how you're treating the things that you have right now? They are watching, whether they say something or not. And if you're wanting to have, growth in your business, if you want to have growth at your job, if you want to be promoted, if you want advancement, if you want recognition, if you want to run for public office, whatever it is that you want, you have to basically do a excellent job at what you're doing right now, because that will show people what you're capable of doing. That will show people what you're faithful in doing, and that will show people that you are equipped and you are ready for more. If you look bent over, tired, defeated, look like you're on your last leg, nobody's going to give you any more work to do. Nobody's going to give you, additional responsibilities. No one's going to want to give you additional money when you barely are making it with what you have right now today. So you really have to check how you are treating the things that you are responsible for right now, today in 2018. Okay, so that's the second nugget. All right, so the third nugget was the amount of time that you spend communing with God determines your hunger level. And I know that a lot of the things that I talk about, I am always going to have my faith and my spirit focused on that area. So I just want you to understand that if you are a person that has a faith level and you believe in God, you have to look at how much time you spend with him. I am very much so guilty of probably not doing as much and spending as much time as I probably should be, could be, and need to be. And I've really done like a 180 the last 6 months in dedicating time, and I have seen the fruits of this. Okay, and it's almost like that you should, but you really haven't taken the active steps to really do it. It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to do it and be committed to it. And I've read, several books and listened to people who are mentors or who are where I want to be, and I'll hear them talk about specifically carving out time to spend with God. And that can be, for some people, in the morning. I am my best in the morning. My creativity is the best in the morning. I can schedule my day out better in the morning. And so I will carve out some time in the morning before I start checking email, before I get on social media, before I start the day. I will carve out that time. And something else that I put in the blog post was about, if you spend 15 minutes with God and you like your results, then increase it to 30 minutes. If you spend 30 minutes and you like the results, then you definitely need to be spending more than 30 minutes. And at some point, it will become habitual. And you will see the benefits. And not just the benefits from a perspective of, if I spend this amount of time, I should be able to get X, Y, and Z. That's not what I mean. I mean, your posture will change. Your outlook will change. You literally will see things from a very different perspective when you spend that alone, intimate time meditating on his word, meditating on positive affirmations. Because I'm going to tell you, as soon as you close that door, as soon as you stop and you open up into the world and open that door, everything is going to come at you with a floodgate. And how awesome would it be if you approached life and that day from a totally different standpoint? And I'm going to challenge you right now. I'm going to challenge you and tell you to start your day off meditating, doing affirmations, reading the word, just sitting in the presence of God. And then once you do that, see how your day changes. Now, you need to do this long enough where you can say you've seen a measurable difference. You can't do it for one day. I recommend you doing it at least 21 days. At least 21 days consistently. And see, and I want you to mark off, whether you put it in a notebook, your phone, I want you to mark off each day that you do it and see if you can't tell a difference just in the simple things. I got a lot of stuff buzzing and going off. And see if you can't tell a difference in how you approach your work, your business, your family, other commitments that you have, your relationships. See if things don't change. I guarantee you they will. If nothing less, you've increased your relationship with God and you've been able to, have a deeper understanding and a deeper connection. Okay. So the next nugget is a chaotic home environment will most certainly create a chaotic person or a chaotic mindset. And that basically is, a lot of times people have things going on at the home base, at home, that may or may not be in their control, and they are dealing with a lot. That's why this alone time with God is so pivotal and so important, because when you have chaos all around you, it is so hard to focus. It is so hard to be positive. It is so hard to be creative. It is so hard to be a problem solver and an optimist when you have all of that cluttering up your mind, your spirit, and your heart. And I realize that not everyone can change their home environment lickety split, right? Like snap your fingers and the chaos is gone and you can just, zip up out of there. I realize that that is not easy. So please do not take this as I'm being unrealistic and you want to just turn the video off. I do see that this is something that you should work toward. And in my blog post, if you read the blog post, I mentioned you may not be able to get out of the home environment, but you can definitely change the amount of time you spend in that environment. Things that I've done over the course of years when I just need a quiet, empty place. I've gone to, a restaurant. I've gone to the library. I've gone different places just to have that quiet, peaceful time. And I can kind of plug in, do what I need to do, read, type up things, read notes, work, whatever it may be, read a book, and I'm in that zone. Or I've gone to the playground in my neighborhood, or I've even sat in my car. Yes, you can do something as simple as just sitting in your car for a specified amount of time and just letting creativity flow. So that's just something I wanted to point out about, that chaos really does affect multiple areas in your life. It really, really does. And you got to really grab it and try your best to get out of that situation. And if you cannot physically get out of that situation, please limit the amount of time that you are spending in that situation. Okay. And then the last thing, and I'm bringing this to a close, everyone, is stop consuming negative news. Oh my God. This is something that is so near and dear to me, and I can say I've seen the benefits. And when I say negative news, I mean negative news on the television. I mean negative news by your friends, negative news by gossiping, negative news at the water cooler at work, negative news by somebody calling you and telling you, so-and-so got sick, so-and-so died, so-and-so got in a car accident, so-and-so on life support, all of that kind of stuff. And I know life happens and I know things happen around us. But you have to really be mindful how much of that you are absorbing. And people tend to do this consciously and subconsciously. And years ago, you know, God prompted me to just turn off the TV, especially just news consumption. And not that I was overly consuming news, but I was on a different track and I was needing, you know, to remove obstacles and barriers to me hearing fully from God and needing him, you know, on a deeper level. And that was one of the things that he told me. And he said that will impact a lot of areas in your life more than what you realize. So if you are watching CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and all this trash and ratchet and just horrible stuff on TV, that is going to impact your mindset. That is most certainly going to impact how you address situations, your optimism versus your pessimism. It is most certainly going to affect your ability to be creative. It is most certainly going to affect your relationships. When you put all of that garbage inside of your temple, it is going to affect your temple, believe it or not. So I just want to just kind of hone in on that. Let that sit there and just think about it. That's what I would ask you to do. Think about it and see if there's any value in reducing the amount of news that you consume. Okay, so this has been a little bit longer than what I anticipated, but I think the things that I've shared with you are very applicable, and I think that you can most certainly benefit from these things in your business, in your work environment, in your work goals, in your family goals, and just in goals in general as you go through your day-to-day. So if you haven't already, follow me on Facebook at Naturally Nija. You can also follow me on Instagram at Naturally Nija and YouTube Naturally Nija J. Thank you so much, guys, and I appreciate your time. Bye.